this new prime minister, proposing constitutional amendments in any case. How is this all being received by the people? Do they feel that it is enough, that the pace of reform is good?
Well, you know, certainly there's a whole lot of talk right now about the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces, whether it is doing well or if it's not. And some of the criticism has been that perhaps the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces is rushing this transitional period. Some have suggested that the military should try to transition and perhaps allow for some type of presidential council to be formed and allow for Egypt at least 1 year for political parties to form and to at least reach out to potential voters and for Egypt to get its political house in order. That's been one of the criticisms. But at the same time, others have been praising the military for constantly keeping the momentum up. You know, they formed this constitutional committee that was tasked with amending various articles of the Constitution. They only gave them about 10 days to do it. Some felt that was a good amount of time to keep people's confidence in progress that it is taking place. Others felt, again, it was too accelerated. There's no doubt that the Supreme Council of the Armed Forces is trying to answer some of the demands of the protesters to the best of its ability, but many also have been critical in the way that it has used some strong-handed tactics against the protesters on Fridays. Some have also been critical of the language that's been coming out of the Supreme Council in the way it has warned protesters from slowing down the recovery of the Egyptian economy. So it's not clear to say yet how the Supreme Council is doing. There are definitely those who think it's doing well, and there are certainly those who think it is not doing enough.
Okay, thank you very much, Ayman Mohildeen, with the latest there from Cairo. Egypt has a new prime minister this Thursday. Now, in other news, a senior government official says Yemen's President Ali Abdullah Saleh will respond positively to an opposition roadmap for him to step down. At least 2 people have been killed in the latest confrontation there between security forces and protesters calling for reform. Thousands have again been demonstrating in the capital Sana'a and the northern city of Saada. Let's get an update now from Hashim Ahel-Bar, who joins us live from the Yemeni capital Sana'a. So what does it mean exactly that is going to respond positively, the president, Hashim?
Well, Ali Abdullah Saleh is very happy with the idea of talking to the opposition about laying down the ground for a transitional period, but he's not willing at this particular moment to talk about resigning anytime soon within a framework that doesn't exceed December 2011. He says that he will stay in power until 2013. This is exactly why the opposition is coming out today saying that now it's no time to talk about negotiations with the president, and they will take to the street, and it's up to the street of Yemen to decide the future of the country. Joining me to talk about the latest developments in Yemen is Dr. Mohammed Khobati, Special Advisor to the Prime Minister and also member of the Syrian Party. Dr. Mohammed, could you tell us what's going on here in the country? With war of words, people saying things and then coming back and saying something quite different. President saying that he's happy with the reforms, but then he's saying that he's not going to resign in 2013.
I agree, Hashim. There's a lot of ambiguity, actually. I myself couldn't follow because we were waiting for a reply from the GMP parties after the clerics as mediators took the so-called 7 points suggestion from them. We never heard from them. Yesterday, there were different, views coming from the opposition.
But I've heard from them, and they told me just now that President Saleh rejects the idea of resigning within 6 months, and therefore they will stop talks with the president and they will take to the streets.
As far as we're concerned, if we're going to speak about a transitional phase, during which we agree on a package, because this package is not clear till now. You hear the opposition people speaking about turning the system into a parliamentary system, and then you hear from some of them saying we should have presidential elections. This ambiguity continues on, whether on the idea how long the transitional phase could be, or whether on the package itself, what sort of change would happen in Yemen.
Let me put it this way, Dr. Mohammed. Your ruling party, the ruling party, says that they're concerned about political vacuum or a power vacuum if President Saleh goes now. The opposition says something quite different, that if you look at Tunisia, Egypt and Libya now, the debate is not about an orderly transition. The debate is about elite regimes have to go. And this is exactly what Saleh had to do.
But that's what we've heard from. I mean, the question is, if Saleh goes, what do we have after that? We want to agree on the new package. What change is going to happen here? The point of having a change moving towards a parliamentary system, it's a good starter. Why don't they say it? They said it and then they said no to it because they're trying to. We hear the Sheikh Hamid Al-Ahmar speaking about a president from the south. That is contradictory completely to their program of having a parliamentary system in this country. And I think if we move to a parliamentary system, that's an overhaul of the whole thing. It's a change, complete change of the system in the country.
The opposition is saying that a parliamentary system is the future of Yemen. However, the concern is that if Ali Abdullah Saleh stays in power, what kind of guarantees is this man is not going to orchestrate a new return to power in a different way? Because this is somebody who said many times in the past that he has had enough of power only to show the world this insatiable desire to govern the country till the end.
They are worried that the president could come back as a party and then come back as a prime minister. But this is if we come on a package and say that we keep the army and the security forces outside politics, and we keep all other points of power, whether money, finance, public service, and everything out of power. The media out of power, then that's a great change for itself as a starter. You can't tell anybody then he can't form a party and go and join in the elections. So the question is not how long actually the transitional phase is. The question is what type of change we're going to have.
This is going to be my last question.
Yes.
You are somebody who meets the president all the time. You're a senior advisor to the political elite in Yemen. Is this man genuine about leaving?
I think he means what he says, and he said what he means. He is going to leave, but he is not going to leave within a vacuum. We have got to have a clear way ahead. How long the transitional phase, that's a matter which we can debate on the table, not debating on the streets.
Dr. Mohammed, thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate it. So as you can see, this is a perfect example of a Yemen squabbling over semantics. President Ali Abdullah Saleh says he's concerned about the future of Yemen. He won't resign until he makes sure that the fundamentals of an orderly transition is there. But the opposition is saying that the wave of change in the Arab world is already there, and Ali Abdullah Saleh has to cave into this demand and has to go. A sign that the crisis continues in Yemen.
Thank you very much, Hashim Ahelbar, reporting there live from the Yemeni capital, Sana'a. Now to Africa, and fighting in Côte d'Ivoire has intensified as forces loyal to incumbent President Laurent Gbagbo take on supporters of his rival Alassane Ouattara. Thousands of people have been forced to leave their homes to seek refuge. Imran Khan reports.
Finally, a chance to smile and to sing for some. This is St. Ambroise Church, Abidjan. But instead of spiritual healing, it's medical healing in this makeshift refugee camp. Thousands have fled the fighting between supporters of the man the West recognises as Côte d'Ivoire's leader, Alassane Ouattara, and Laurent Gbagbo, who is clinging to power despite international condemnation. They arrive here dishevelled, tired, and in desperate need of care.
We have two types of people, those who only stay for a day and those that stay longer. We try and help them move